Hey TGL! Alright, so as you already obviously know from the other guys' videos, this week is coming out story week. So, yes, I guess I'm just gonna tell you guys my coming out story. There's been a lot, I've seen like a lot of coming out videos on YouTube and they're not really all the same. I mean, I guess in some aspects they are because they're telling you how they came out to people, but I think that you can learn something different from each and every one, and so I actually really enjoy watching them. So I'm kind of glad that we're doing this so we can share ours. I can share mine because I'm sure I had a different experience than the majority of people. So maybe I can say some things that will help any of the people watching this if they haven't come out, or if they have come out, or if they're feeling any certain way. I don't know, so I guess I'm just gonna get into it, you know? Alright, so when I was in so all throughout my life, I was treated differently. Everyone knew I was gay, obviously, from the moment I marched out my mother's womb. They was just like, oh my god, that kid gay. And so I was teased my whole life. It was awful, I was accosted constantly. And people they knew I was gay and they wanted to pick on me. So let's premise this story. I'm from a tiny ass town in Canada. It's not too small, it's like 20,000 people, but it's very Christian, Catholic, whatever, and I went to a Catholic school all my life, so I was just different. So when I was young, I obviously thought I was a girl. There's pictures of me when I was a kid, with my nails just did, fresh mani, you know, so, and there's pictures of me, I remember when I was a kid, I used to, put, my shirt, I would, take my shirt off and, put it on my head, and, pretend I had, long, luscious hair, and I used to have, concerts in my mirror, and I was gay. So, my parents always knew, and, so at school, teachers would treat me like shit, because they thought I was different and just didn't like the way I was. And I remember my first grade teacher, my dad told me that she used to call him and be like, Jordan doesn't talk to guys. He's always hanging out with girls. It's really weird. It's really weird, and I don't know, there's just he's just not normal. And first of all, to have someone say that to you, or say that about your kid, that's terrible. To say they're not normal, drop dead, honey. Drop dead, okay? I hated her. I remember, her name was Mrs. Shackles, and I remember my whole life, I still remember to this day how rude she was to me, how terribly she treated. She used to get me in trouble just because she didn't like me. And I actually remember that she wore heels every day, and I used to just stare at her shoes. I was fascinated by them, how they clicked, and I wanted the pair, so I was so gay. But obviously being in first grade, you do not know what a homosexual is and what being gay is. And this was 1998, so just nothing. It was a shit show. So then I went to grade 2 and grade 3 and grade 4, and when I got to grade 4, it was a primary, secondary version of I don't know, primary or junior prime. I don't know. I remember it was two different levels. Where I went to a 1 to 6 school. So grade 1, 2, and 3 were one level. And grade 4, 5, and 6 were the next. And so when I got to grade 4, I was in the new level, so I was around the 6th graders and the 5th graders more. And they were so rude to me. I remember they used to bash me and all this crazy stuff, and I honestly just didn't know why. I had the worst experience in school. All the guys in my grade were so mean to me. And it kind of got better in grade 5, but not really. And then grade 6, and I kept getting older, and then I went to a new school in grade 7. It was grade 7 to 12. And so I was in grade 7, and my teacher was terrible to me. And I guess I was just treated differently my whole life because I was gay, and and I didn't really know. I didn't understand that was the reason, because then I didn't know what gay was. I remember I used to look at guys and be like, oh, for some reason, I couldn't help but look at them. I didn't understand why. I just wanted to stare at them. I remember when I first saw High School Musical, I think I was in grade 7 or 8. Or, no, I think I was in grade 6. And I was obsessed with Zac Efron. I just wanted to stare at him. I thought he was so good, but I didn't understand. If I would have known what gay was, I would have been oh my god, I'm probably gay. But I didn't even understand what that was. I just saw Zac Efron and I wanted Zac Efron. That's all I knew. And so, grade 7 and 8 were fine. In grade 8, I actually started dating a girl. And everyone's like, oh my god, I thought Jordan was gay, and blah, blah, blah. And we ended up dating for a year and a half. And to me, it was just like she was my best friend, and it was just like that next step, you know? Like, everyone dates girls, so I need to find a girl and date her. And so she was there, and we were good friends, and so we ended up, she was like, I like you, and I was like, oh my god, so I like you too. And I thought I did, I honestly thought I did. So we dated forever, and then when I got into high school, there was this kid who was 2 years older than me. He was in grade 11, I was in grade 9, and he added me on MSN, and he was like, you're gay. And I was like, who are you? Like, how'd you even get my MSN? And he's like, oh, I see you around school all the time, you're gay. And I was like, I'm not gay, like, I'm not. And he's like, yeah, you are. And I was like, kid, I'm not gay, like, I have a girlfriend. He's like, that doesn't mean anything, you're just like hiding it. And I was like, no, I'm not. And so he was just rude, and I was like, what is this? But for some reason, I wanted to talk to him. I would look forward all day when I would go home and talk to him. And I didn't understand it. I was so confused. And he would see me in the hall, and he would walk by with his sister. They were like best friends. And he would be like, oh, you're gay. Or she'd be like, oh, mom. And I was just like, they were like accosting me. And I was like, you're gay too, so why are you doing that? Girl, get real. So anyways, so they would do that. And it was just like, it was different. Like, so I kept talking to him, and I told everyone, like, I went around and I was like, oh my god, there's this gay guy talking to me, he's telling me I'm gay. And I was like fascinated, I was like obsessed with talking to him, like, it was ridiculous. So, one day he was like, no, you're seriously gay. And I was like, you know what? I really probably am. Like, one day he was like, so one day he was like, we should hang out. And I was like, all right, like, and so we did, and then we like started talking, and I was like, I really am gay. And like, I was like, this guy's interested in me, so like, oh my god, I should just drop my life and like date him. And so I went up to my girlfriend, and I was like, oh yeah, like, we can't date anymore. And she was being a bitch like lately anyways. So she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, I'm gay, I just don't like you. I was like, I like guys, I don't know why I was with you. And she was like, oh, you're not gay. And I was like, yeah, I am. So anyways, blah blah. She like skipped school for a week and bawled her eyes out. Meanwhile, I was at school hanging out with this kid, and I like only started talking to him for like 3 weeks. Just like every day at school, I would be with him all the time whenever I was near anyone. So I stopped talking to basically all of my friends. I started talking to his friends. I would hang out with him in his hallway because like obviously grade 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s all have their own hallway. And so my life just revolved around him, and then we started hanging out, and I drank with him once, and like we ended up, so I went out and hung out with his friends at one of their houses one time, and we were drinking, and I just had like a sip of something, like I wasn't actually drinking, but they were, and then we like me and him ended up hooking up, and then like after that, like after we hooked up, he just like started acting weird, and I was like, what's going on? This was like a month after we started dating, and so he was like, I was in grade 9, he was in grade 11, I was really young, I was like 14, and so, he just kind of stopped talking to me, and I thought it was weird. So weeks went by, and I was like, why are you being like this? And then all of a sudden he was like, okay, he's like, don't talk to me anymore, like, you're so annoying, I can't stand you, get out of my life. And I was like, oh my god, like, are you kidding me? And he eventually just stopped replying to me. And so I was lost. I had no idea. I stopped talking to all my friends for this kid. I like broke up with my girlfriend for this kid who I thought I loved, and like I was like, oh my god, like, what have I done? And so grade 9, and while I was with him, everyone was questioning. They were like, oh yeah, I forgot to say, so while I was like with him, hanging out with him, everyone was like, oh my god, why is Jordan hanging out with like a faggot, blah blah blah, he must be one too. And then so people come up to me like, are you gay? And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, we're dating, blah, blah, blah. Like, I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And so everyone in my high school knew, and then they told every other freaking high school in my town, and like, and all their parents, and like, I was like hated. It was ridiculous. So we broke up, and then I was like, what have I done with my life? Like, I was so depressed. I cried for like a month. Like, it wasn't even funny. And so after that month, I finally started getting back to normal. Like, I started talking to my friends again, like explaining to them what happened, and it was just hard. And so life went on, and like grade 9 was awful. I was bullied so bad. People were so rude to me. I remember this one kid who I won't name because I'm not gonna give him the satisfaction, and he's kind of apologized in a way to me after high school. But in grade 9, I would go into English class, and he would flip my chair upside down. And he would be like, oh, that's how you like it, right? Like, I was supposed to sit on the legs of the chair and like, up my butt. Like, guys are so mature. So yeah, so I was just accosted constantly in high school. It was ridiculous. And I would go to the teachers and the guidance counselors and the student, like, people in the student services, and like none of them did anything. They were like, it's not happening, it's all in your head. And it wasn't. And I remember in grade 9, my religion teacher actually, when it was homosexuality week and he had to explain to us what homosexuality was, etc., etc., he was like, gay people are bad, or not like bad, but that's basically what he said. He was like, gay people, it's not natural. And he's like, something happened, like a defect at birth, and all this stuff. And when he was saying this, he was looking directly at me. He was staring me in the eye. And so it was just ridiculous. Like, thinking back on that now, and my first grade teacher, like, I was totally taken advantage of. Like, I didn't know anything about being gay when I was in grade 9, when I first came out. I didn't even know what gay was until I came out. And so I just wish that I could go back there and like argue with him, be like, you know what, you fuck, listen up, you piece of shit. You are the dirt on the ground. You're a 45-year-old man who's ugly as hell, and you're telling a 14-year-old gay boy that he's a defect from birth, and that he shouldn't be here, and that gay people are disgusting, etc., etc. And I just would have shut his ass down. And I know so much about the subject today that anyone who says the most, like, something remotely ignorant about homosexuality, I shut them down. And so I just wish that I could go back and do that. So anyways, grade 10 was a little better. Like, I started getting more and more friends. Like, all the girls in my school loved me. Like, I don't think there was a single female in my high school that I wasn't friends with. And the guys all hated me. I didn't have a single male friend my entire life. And so because all of them bullied me, they all hated me, and they all thought it was funny. And grade 11 got better. I started getting more confidence, and like I met this girl I met this girl who's very special to me. Her name was Jen, and she was always like, if I wanted to do something, she would support it. If I was like, oh my god, Jen, I want to like shave my head, she'd like, do it. Or I was like, oh my god, Jen, I want to come to school naked tomorrow, she's like, do it. Or if I'm like, oh my god, Jen, I want to wear makeup, she's like, do it. If I was like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna go stab the teacher, she's like, do it. Not really, but like, she always supported me in everything I did. She was like, if there's something you want to do, you need to do it, and you need to not worry what other people think about you, because they don't effing matter. What matters is what you think of yourself. And if you love yourself if you love yourself enough to be able to do what you want, and to be able to walk down a hall, let's say in makeup or something, like me walking down a hall in makeup, like I didn't, but like, if, for example, that was what I did, or I wanted to wear a dress to school or something, like if I love myself and I'm comfortable enough with myself to walk down the hall and not care what everyone else around me is mouthing, then do it, is basically what she said. She was like, that is when you know you have succeeded. And so I was like, you know what, bitch, you are totes right. And so I would go to school, and I would just be myself. I just had more confidence. I didn't change really anything about myself, but I started being more myself. And as I kept getting older, I started being more myself, and it was good. And so I was really close with her, and she meant the world to me, because she honestly helped me. She helped me through high school is basically it. So grade 12 was great. Grade 12 was my best year. I was totally more comfortable with myself. I made some really, really good relationships to this day with some of my grade 12 teachers. And no one really made fun of me anymore in grade 12. It was kind of old news. I mean, the guys were still total assholes to me, but like when I walked down the hall, they weren't like, fag. They just ignored me. I was old news. And honey, they were old news to me before I was born, so. And so went to university, and at university, just no one cared. It was fantastic. Like, I never came out at university. Like, I was never, oh my god, I'm Jordan, I'm gay. Like, it was just like, hey, I'm Jordan, and then we made friends, and I was like, I will never again, like, I will never pretend that I'm not gay. Like, I will never be like, oh my god, she's pretty or something. Like, if a guy walks by and I think he's hot, I'm like, damn, that guy's sexy as fuck, you know? So, it's just like, it changed. My life was different. And thinking back on high school, and like now, like I live in Toronto, I live in a huge city, like I go out in the gay village all the time. I have tons of gay friends. Like, it's just fantastic. I'm totally who I am. Like, I'm an outrageous bitch, and people know it. And I'm a total cunt. I'm a total bitch. I'm the craziest fuck you'll ever meet. I'm so gay, it's retarded. Not really, but I can be. And I'm just so out there. People tell me, I mean, I'm not really out there, but I can be. And so people often are like, how are you so comfortable with yourself? Actually, yeah, some young guys, like, when they see how crazy I act and how much I don't care about what other people think, like if I run by and I was like if I ran down the street screaming I'm gay, I wouldn't give a fuck. And they're like, how are you so comfortable? Like, they're in awe. And I'm like, you know what? You need to love yourself. And I have said this to everyone my whole life. I said, I would rather be myself, love myself, and have everyone around me hate my guts and have no friends, be alone forever, but love myself, be true to who I am, than to be fake, someone I'm not, and like hate myself just to have others like me. It's like, you don't need those people in your life to succeed. The only person you need in your life is yourself. And that's so true. I've always said it, I've always lived by it, I always will. The only person that you need to love is yourself. And it's as if you love yourself, others will love you. When they see you and how much and how amazing that you are because you love yourself, you can be 100% yourself and just a fabulous person, they will love you. They can't help but love you. I've been through the worst bullying, and I'm not going into detail, but it was terrible. I was never like physically attacked or anything, thank God, but I made it out. And I remember, so my parents never cared. They always knew, and I told them, they're like, yeah, we've always known. They were just like the normal parent. They were just like, oh, we're just like worried like you're gonna have a harder life and you're gonna get like bullied and all this stuff. And I mean it comes with it, but it goes without saying, and it's expected, and you're never gonna get away from it. So you just need to be able to love yourself enough to not care about it and to not let it affect you. And I think that, yeah, like I said, the most important thing is to love yourself, because the ones who love you are the ones that matter, really. And if they don't like you and they think you're gross and they're rude to you, then they mean nothing to you in the first place. If someone's gonna be rude to you, then why give them the time of day? Why even pay attention? Like there was this one kid who used to bully me all the time in high school. Where is he now? Pretty sure he's working for the city, shoveling gravel and mowing lawns. And he didn't go to school. And I'm at the 13th best post-secondary institution on the planet Earth. So, who's winning, bitch? Me. So yeah, guys, that is my kind of coming out story and just some blabs that I wanted to say about it. Just bottom line is, you need to love yourself and not care what anyone else thinks. And I'm talking like high school. Like if you're in high school coming out, like I'm talking like your friends and the bullies. Like, don't give a fuck about them. Obviously, you need to care about your parents. You need to assess your situation. Everyone has different situations. Like, if you think your parents are gonna kick you out when you come out, then girl, you cannot do that because you need to wait until you get the fuck out of the house. Like, you can't be having yourself on the street. That is just unacceptable. So assess your situation. If you think that your parents are gonna be good with it, then come out to them. And if you don't know and you don't want to take the chance, then don't. You need to be smart in that aspect. But at school, you need to be yourself. You don't have to walk around with a fucking sign on your forehead that says, I'm gay, everyone look at me. You just need to be comfortable with yourself and you need to be true to yourself. And honestly, for me, I was watching a Britney Spears documentary once, and she said that you cannot experience true happiness until you felt true sadness. And I think it's so true. I have had times in my life that were so hard to get through, and I made it through. And I know what it's like to have no hope and just to feel like you are never going to be out of your town and everyone's going to hate you and you're going to be bullied for the rest of your life. And honestly, it's not true. And once you get out there and you see what else is there, you will be so happy and you'll be able to appreciate that happiness because you've known what it's like to be sad. It's just, it's so true. So that's about all I have to say about that. I hope that you guys agree with me, and I hope that maybe you learned something, or maybe I reinforced some previous thought notions of yours. But the main thing is you need to love yourself, you need to be yourself, and embrace yourself, because honey, you're who you are. You're never gonna be anybody else, no matter how hard you try. And you know, you can be a million people, but the easiest one is to be yourself. And that's really all there is to it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my probably colossal video on coming out story. And I can't wait to see you guys next Thursday. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed everyone else's coming out story. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and Friday, obviously. And I will see you guys in a week. Bye.